My daughter drew our family, but there was one person none of us recognized. My 7-year-old daughter came home from school smiling. "Daddy, look what I drew today." It was a picture of our family. Me, my wife, her, our dog, and one more person. A tall man standing behind us. He wasn't smiling. I laughed and asked, "Who's that?" She looked at me confused. "You know him. He comes to our house when you're at work." My wife froze. I thought it was a joke, until my daughter whispered, "He told me not to tell you." Absolutely. Here's part one of an original, suspenseful Facebook story designed to maximize retention with short cliffhangers and emotional pacing. My daughter drew our family, but there was one person none of us recognized. My 7-year-old daughter, Lily, loved to draw. Every afternoon, she'd come home from school, dump her backpack by the front door, and spend hours covering our dining table with colorful crayons and paper. Most of her drawings were exactly what you'd expect. Rainbows, dogs, princesses, our family holding hands under a bright yellow sun. That Thursday seemed no different. "Daddy," she shouted as soon as I walked through the door. "I made something for you." I smiled. "Let's see it." She proudly handed me a folded sheet of paper. When I opened it, my smile faded. It was another family portrait. Me, my wife, Emily, Lily, our golden retriever, Max, and one more person. A tall man stood behind us. Unlike the rest of us, he wasn't smiling. He was completely colored in black. No eyes, no mouth, just a dark figure. I laughed awkwardly. "Who's this?" Lily blinked. "You know him." Emily looked over from the kitchen. "What are you talking about?" "The man." Lily pointed at the drawing. "He comes here." Emily frowned. "What man?" "The one who visits when Daddy is working." Silence filled the room. Emily slowly looked at me. I looked back at her. Neither of us spoke. I forced another laugh. "Sweetheart, is this someone from TV?" She shook her head. "No." "Then who is he?" She lowered her voice. "He told me not to tell anyone." The room suddenly felt colder. Emily knelt beside Lily. "Honey, nobody comes here." "Yes, he does. When?" "Sometimes after lunch." "What does he do?" "He just watches." Emily grabbed my hand beneath the table. Her fingers were trembling. That night, neither of us slept much. We assumed Lily had imagined everything. Kids invent imaginary friends all the time. That's what we kept telling ourselves. The next afternoon, I left work early. I parked 2 streets away and quietly walked home. Nothing. No strange cars. No unfamiliar people. The house looked perfectly normal. Inside, Emily was folding laundry. Lily was drawing again. I almost laughed at how ridiculous yesterday had seemed, until I looked at the paper. Another family picture. Again, the same dark figure. This time, he was standing much closer, and in tiny red letters beside him, Lily had written, "He's getting closer." A chill ran through my body. "Lily?" She didn't look up. "He said you'd see this today." Emily turned pale. "What?" "He knew Daddy would come home early." Every hair on my arm stood up. How could anyone know that? Lily shrugged. "He hears everything." That night, I installed security cameras around the house. Front door, back door, living room, hallway, every entrance. I even paid extra for motion alerts. Emily thought I was overreacting, but she didn't stop me. At 2:17 a.m., my phone buzzed. Motion detected. My heart started pounding. I opened the camera feed. The hallway was empty. Nothing moved. Probably a bug. I started putting my phone away. Then the image froze. For less than 1 second, a dark silhouette appeared at the end of the hallway, then disappeared. I replayed the recording. Nothing. Again. Nothing. The figure was gone, as if it had never been there. The next morning, I called the security company. They found no malfunction. No editing. No explanation. The technician smiled politely. Probably a lighting glitch. I wanted to believe him, until Lily walked into the room carrying another drawing. This time there were only 3 people. Me, her, Max. Emily was gone. I swallowed hard. "Where's Mommy?" Lily stared at the paper. He said she won't be here much longer. Emily dropped the coffee mug in her hands. It shattered across the kitchen floor. No one spoke. Outside, someone knocked on the front door. 3 slow knocks. When I opened it, no one was there. Only a small white envelope on the welcome mat. On the front, written in black marker, "Ask Lily who the man really is." I stared at the envelope. There was no stamp, no return address, just those 6 words. "Ask Lily who the man really is." Emily refused to let Lily see it. She carried our daughter upstairs while I searched the neighborhood. Nothing. No cameras caught anyone approaching the house. No neighbors had seen a visitor. It was as if the envelope had simply appeared. That night, after Lily fell asleep, Emily and I sat in silence. Finally, she whispered, "What if this isn't imaginary?" I wanted to tell her she was overthinking. Instead, I reached into the drawer and pulled out every drawing Lily had made over the last month. There were dozens. At first glance, they all looked normal. Then I noticed something. Every single drawing included the same tall figure, sometimes hidden behind a tree, sometimes standing in a window, sometimes barely visible in the corner. How had we never seen him before? I spread the pictures across the dining table in order by date. My heart sank. The figure was getting closer in every drawing. The oldest picture showed him far across the street. A week later, he stood near our mailbox, then beside our porch, then inside the living room. The newest drawing, he was standing directly behind Emily. I couldn't breathe. The next morning, I decided to ask Lily carefully, "Honey, who is the man?" She looked up from her cereal. "He says his name doesn't matter. Where did you meet him?" I didn't. "He met me." Emily almost dropped her coffee. "When?" "The first day we moved into this house. That was almost 2 years ago." "What does he want?" Lily shrugged. "He says he's waiting." "For what?" She looked toward the hallway. "For Mommy to remember." Emily froze. Her face turned white. I had never seen her react like that before. I turned toward her. "What does that mean?" I don't know." But I could tell she was lying. That afternoon, Emily disappeared into the attic. An hour passed, then 2. Finally, she came downstairs carrying an old cardboard box. Inside were faded photographs, letters, and a newspaper clipping. She sat across from me. "There was something I never told you." My stomach tightened. When I was 12, my older brother disappeared. "What?" "He walked out one afternoon and never came home." I stared at her. "He told me you were an only child." My parents couldn't bear talking about him. She handed me an old photograph. A teenage boy smiled at the camera. Tall, slim, long dark hair. My blood ran cold. Even though the face was visible, his silhouette looked exactly like the figure in Lily's drawings. Emily began crying. Lily has never seen this picture. Neither of us spoke. Then Lily walked into the room. She looked at the photograph, smiled softly, and said, "That's him." The room fell silent. Emily burst into tears. "No." Lily nodded. "He says he's sorry he left." I felt every hair on my arm stand up. "How do you know that?" "He told me. When... just now." She pointed toward the empty hallway. "He's standing right there." Emily slowly turned. The hallway was empty, but from somewhere upstairs, a single floorboard creaked. Very slowly, as though someone had just taken one careful step. Emily stood frozen, staring into the empty hallway. The floorboard creaked again, slow, deliberate, then silence. I grabbed a flashlight from the kitchen drawer and rushed upstairs. Every bedroom was empty. The bathroom window was locked from the inside. The attic door hadn't been opened. No footprints, no sign that anyone had been there. Yet I couldn't shake the feeling that we weren't alone. That night, Lily refused to sleep in her own room. "Can I stay with you?" "Of course," Emily said, pulling her close. As I tucked Lily into our bed, she whispered something so quietly I almost missed it. "He's scared." I frowned. "Who's scared?" "The man. I thought he was frightening you." She shook her head. "No, he's trying to protect us." Emily and I exchanged confused looks. "Protect us from what?" I asked. Lily stared toward the bedroom door. "From the one in the basement." My heart skipped a beat. "The basement." She nodded. He says we should never open the little red door. I felt a chill spread through my body. Our basement did have a small red painted storage door beneath the stairs. We'd never opened it. The previous owner had said it was just an old utility closet, and we'd forgotten about it. Now I couldn't stop thinking about it. The next morning, curiosity got the better of me. I grabbed a flashlight and headed downstairs. Emily followed reluctantly. The basement was cold and damp. At the far end was the small red door. A rusty padlock hung from the handle. Something felt wrong. The air was strangely still. I slipped the key into the lock. Click. Emily grabbed my arm. Maybe we shouldn't. Before I could answer, Lily screamed from upstairs. "Daddy, don't open it." Her voice echoed through the house. I ran upstairs. She was standing at the top of the stairs, crying. "He said you're too late." "Who's too late?" "The man." "What happened?" "He left." "What do you mean?" "He can't protect us anymore." The house suddenly went silent. Even the old grandfather clock had stopped ticking. Then 3 loud knocks echoed from the front door. Boom, boom, boom. I opened it immediately. No one. Just another envelope. This one was thicker. Inside was a single photograph. It showed our house, taken from across the street. The date in the corner caught my eye. It was yesterday. Someone had been watching us. On the back, written in black ink, were 7 chilling words. "He finally remembered. Now it's your turn." Emily gasped. "I've seen this handwriting before." She ran upstairs and returned with the old box from the attic. Inside was the newspaper clipping about her missing brother. Folded inside it was a birthday card he had written to her years ago. The handwriting matched. Exactly. But that was impossible. Her brother had disappeared 25 years ago. No one had ever found him. Or his body. Emily's hands trembled. She whispered, "What if he never left?" Just then, Lily looked toward the living room window. Her eyes widened. "Daddy, what is it?" She pointed outside. "The man is smiling." I slowly turned toward the window. Across the street, beneath the old oak tree, someone was standing perfectly still, watching the house. Before I could run outside, a black SUV pulled up beside him. The figure stepped inside. The vehicle drove away. I sprinted into the street, but it vanished around the corner. When I returned to the house, Lily was holding a brand new drawing. This time there were no dark figures. Instead, she had drawn a map. A winding road, a lonely cabin in the woods, and one sentence written across the top in shaky red crayon. "If you want the truth, go here before sunset." For a long moment, none of us spoke. The map lay on the kitchen table. It wasn't drawn like a child's doodle. It was detailed. A narrow road, a broken wooden bridge, a creek, and a small cabin marked with a red X. Emily looked at me. "We're really going?" "I have to know." We left just after lunch. Lily sat quietly in the back seat, holding the drawing on her lap. She never looked out the window. She just kept staring at the map, as if she already knew where we were headed. 45 minutes later, the GPS lost signal. The road turned to gravel. Trees surrounded us from every side. Then Lily spoke. "Turn left." "There isn't a road." "There is." I slowed down. Hidden between 2 overgrown bushes was a narrow dirt path. My stomach tightened. She was right. 10 minutes later, the cabin appeared. It looked abandoned. The windows were boarded up. The roof sagged. Nature had almost swallowed it whole. Yet something felt disturbingly lived in. The front door was slightly open. Emily whispered, "I don't like this." Neither did I. But we stepped inside. Dust covered everything. Old furniture, broken dishes, a fireplace blackened with soot. Then Lily pointed toward the far wall. Behind that, we moved an old bookshelf. Hidden behind it was a small metal safe. Its door was already unlocked. Inside, there was a stack of journals, a bundle of photographs, and an old VHS tape labeled, "For Emily." Emily's hands shook so badly she almost dropped it. There was also a folded letter. On the front were just 2 words, "Little sis." Emily unfolded it with trembling fingers. As she read, tears streamed down her face. "What does it say?" I asked softly. She couldn't answer. She simply handed it to me. The letter read, Emily, if you're reading this, it means I failed. I never abandoned you. Someone took me. When I escaped, no one believed my story. The people who did this were still looking for me, so I disappeared on purpose. I stayed hidden because I believed it was the only way to keep you safe. If they found you, I'm sorry, but don't trust the police. Don't trust anyone who already knows your name. There's proof in the journals. Please forgive me. Daniel. The room fell silent. Emily collapsed into a chair, sobbing. He didn't leave us. He was protecting us. Just then, a car door slammed outside. Another, then another. I peeked through a crack in the window. 3 black SUVs. 6 people dressed in dark clothing were walking toward the cabin. One of them pointed directly at the front door. My heart started racing. They found us. Emily looked terrified. How? Before anyone could answer, Lily calmly pointed toward the fireplace. There's another way. I looked closer. Behind the fireplace was a narrow wooden hatch, hidden exactly where Lily had pointed. We opened it. A tunnel disappeared into darkness beneath the cabin. As the strangers reached the front porch, we climbed inside. The hatch closed above us. A moment later, we heard the cabin door burst open. Heavy footsteps echoed overhead. Someone shouted, "They were right here." Lily's hand gripped mine as I flashlighted the darkness. The tunnel stretched into an abyss. At its end, a single beam of light welcomed us. Upon reaching it, I saw a perfectly still figure. It was the same tall silhouette from her drawings. However, this time, I could see his face clearly. Emily gasped, almost falling to her knees. "Daniel," his voice answered. "Yes." His eyes bore into her with gentle warmth. "You thought I was dead. I wanted you to believe that." Lily looked at him with tears streaming down her face. "Forgive me. I wanted you safe." Daniel knelt beside her. "Thank you for always being there." As we stared in disbelief, how did he find out? Daniel looked at her with soft eyes. Children recognize adults overlooked by others. She saw me from a distance. I never wanted to hurt her. Before asking another question, voices rumbled through the tunnel. "They're coming." The SUVs had found the cabin. Daniel's expression transformed. "We need to move fast." He led us through the narrow passage until we reached a rusted metal door hidden behind vines. Outside, the sun melted the old dirt road. In the pickup truck, one of the SUV's occupants roared. Gravel showered around us. We raced down the winding road in the SUV. After several minutes, the other SUV lost us. In a few weeks, several men were arrested. The dark mystery surrounding Emily's family was finally solved. After a month, life returned to normal. Lily continued to draw. One day, she handed me another picture. Emily looked at me with happy tears. "I never forgot you." The end.